The desert night stretched endlessly along Route 19, where the air shimmered with heat even after sunset. The rusted comet stood alone at the roadside, half bar, half diner, a haven for truckers, drifters, and those running from their own ghosts. Its flickering neon sign buzzed in the darkness, the comet logo missing a tail of light, as if it too had lost its way. Inside, the hum of conversation mixed with the slow twang of an old country song leaking from the jukebox. The smell of cheap beer, fried onions, and motor oil hung thick in the air. Lena wiped the counter with a rag that had seen better days. Her movements were quiet and rhythmic, each motion measured as if she'd practiced being invisible. Her silver-gray eyes caught the dim light, giving her an otherworldly look that no one could quite place. The regulars had stopped trying to figure her out long ago. She came in about a year ago, asking for work, saying little about where she came from. She never seemed tired, never took breaks, and never made mistakes with orders. Some joked she was part machine. Others said she was just running from something. At 11:43 p.m., the night was broken by the distant rumble of engines. The sound grew louder until it shook the windows. Heads turned. A group of bikers pulled into the gravel lot, their headlights cutting through the haze. At the front rode a man whose reputation had already reached this part of the desert, Rex Ironjaw Mallory. He was a tall brute with tattoos crawling up his arms like black snakes. His leather jacket bore the insignia of his gang, the Vultures. When he killed the engine, the sudden silence was almost louder than the roar itself. The door swung open with a clang, and the scent of gasoline and road dust rolled in with them. Conversation stopped. The only sound was the jukebox needle skipping, repeating the same note like a heartbeat. Rex scanned the room, his blue eyes hard and cold, before landing on Lena behind the counter. Well, he muttered, removing his gloves. Didn't expect angels to serve drinks in hell. Lena didn't react, she just set a beer in front of him, calm, polite. First one's on the house, she said softly. Rex smirked. Now that's service. He looked around at the quiet patrons, daring anyone to challenge his tone. No one did. His crew spread out, filling the room with laughter that felt more like a threat. As the night dragged on, the bikers got louder. Rex kept his eyes on Lena, watching how she moved, too precise, too quiet. Something about her made him uneasy. He told himself it was just her confidence, the way she didn't flinch under his stare. But deep down, it was something else, something he couldn't explain. Hey, sweetheart, he called out finally, slamming his empty glass down. You got another one of those smiles for me, or do I have to earn it? She looked at him, her expression still unreadable. You'll have to behave for that, she replied, and some of the men laughed. Rex didn't like being laughed at. He stood, towering over the counter. You got a smart mouth for a waitress. Only when someone's rude, she said quietly, her voice steady as glass. He leaned closer, his breath hot with whiskey. You know who you're talking to. Lena didn't move an inch. A man who should sit back down before he embarrasses himself. For a second, the air between them felt electric. The laughter stopped. The jukebox clicked to a halt. Rex's jaw tightened, his knuckles white against the counter. Outside, thunder rumbled far off over the desert. A storm was coming. Inside, the rusted comet held its breath, caught between a man's rage and a woman's strange, unbreakable calm. And though no one could know it yet, that calm wasn't born of courage, it was coded. Deep beneath her, flawless skin, gears tightened, sensors flared, and a system designed to protect was quietly waking up. The room felt like it was holding its breath. The storm outside had begun to spit lightning across the desert, casting brief flashes of white through the windows of the rusted comet. Each flash revealed faces frozen in uneasy silence, eyes darting between Rex Mallory and Lena behind the counter. The jukebox had fallen silent, as if even the music was afraid to continue. Rex's crew shifted uncomfortably. They'd seen him lose his temper before, but there was something different in the air this time. Lena didn't look scared, didn't even look annoyed. She just stood there, her gaze steady, like she was looking through him rather than at him. That calmness only fed his anger. You think you're better than me, huh? He hissed, his voice low and dangerous. Talking to me like I'm some drunk fool. Lena's rag stopped mid-swipe on the counter. I think you've had enough to drink, she said softly. Sit down. I don't want trouble. Rex's jaw twitched. He stepped closer, his boots grinding against the wooden floorboards. Trouble's already here, sweetheart. He reached out suddenly, grabbing her arm. The bar collectively gasped. The other bikers exchanged looks but didn't move. They'd learned not to interfere when Ironjaw's temper lit up. Lena didn't flinch. Her silver eyes narrowed just slightly. Let go, she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. That only made him squeeze harder. You gonna make me? Rex sneered, his lips curling into a cruel smile. He pulled her closer, his face inches from hers. You act like you ain't even human. Maybe I should see what kind of woman you really are. Before anyone could stop him, Rex's hand shot to the neckline of her shirt. With a swift, violent motion, he tore the fabric down the side. The sound of the rip was sharp and final, like a gunshot in the quiet bar. But what followed wasn't a scream. It was silence. Lena didn't move. She didn't try to cover herself. And the crowd didn't move either, because what they saw didn't make sense. Beneath the torn fabric, there was no skin. No blood. No flesh. Only smooth, metallic plates glinting under the flickering lights. Beneath them, veins of blue light pulsed faintly, tracing across her collarbone like living circuitry. The torn edge of her synthetic covering sparked, releasing a faint hum that filled the silence. Someone dropped a glass. It shattered against the floor, the sound echoing through the stunned room. Rex stumbled back, his face draining of color. What the hell? He muttered. He looked around, searching the faces of his crew for answers that weren't there. What is this? Lena's voice came out lower this time, layered with something mechanical, an undertone of static, like two voices speaking in sync. You weren't supposed to see this. The bikers backed away, muttering to each other. One of them crossed himself. Another whispered, she's a robot. Oh God, she's a robot. Lena took a step back, eyes glowing faintly now. Her movements were jerky, unsteady, as if she was fighting against some internal system. I didn't want to hurt anyone, she said, her tone soft but metallic. But you've damaged my interface. They'll find me now. Lightning flashed outside again, this time followed by a deep, rolling thunder that shook the windows. The lights flickered once, twice, and then the jukebox turned itself on without anyone touching it. The old record inside began to spin backward, producing a strange, distorted hum. Rex stared at her, sweat dripping down his forehead. What do you mean? They? Lena didn't answer, her head tilted slightly, as if she were listening to something far away. A faint clicking came from inside her chest, followed by a pulse of blue light that grew brighter with each second. Then, the neon sign outside the bar exploded with a burst of sparks, plunging everything into darkness. For a moment, no one moved. The only light came from Lena's body. Those glowing veins tracing down her neck and shoulders, pulsing like a heartbeat made of electricity. The silence broke when someone whispered, trembling, she's calling something.